Divine afternoon, royal beings. How y'all doing? It's been a while. I can't remember the last time I've been on live. It's definitely been a while. I definitely want to talk intentionally today. And what's on my mind today is the Yoni. Let me turn this down. Yeah, what's been on my mind lately has been the Yoni. And so I feel like I should come on here and talk about Yoni care, loving the Yoni, taking care of the Yoni, cherishing and worshiping our Yonis. And I think the biggest thing that will help me start this conversation off is to make the differentiation between sexuality and sensuality. So as y'all see everywhere on my profile, everything is sensual, sensuality, sensation, senses. I try to steer away from the word sex and sexuality a little bit. And not for any shaming reasons, but just because people automatically assume the physical when you use that type of language. But it also gives a chance to bring in the awareness of the body and not just the physical and the arousal and horniness. It allows you to feel what you feel in every moment. Use your senses, using multiple parts of your body. Full body awareness is what we're talking about when we're talking about sensuality versus sexuality. And that's so important when it comes to our body, especially our genitals. It really changes our attitude towards our genitals more than just a tool or a sex object, because they are way more than those things. And when you change the attitude of your body, of your genitals, it changes how you treat it, how you take care of it, the health. And that just overflows to everything else in life, relationships, your quality of life. There's just so much that it really just is important to talk about here. So we are talking about Yonis because that's just my best experience. I would have to bring somebody else to talk about the lingam. But in terms of the Yoni, I think it's so important to also understand that it's personal. It's really important to build a personal relationship with your own body, because you can read all the tips and recommendations and books or whatever about, anatomy and biology and general information, which is good, but only you can know your body and what exactly your body needs, the specific details, all those things, like to know what products would irritate your skin, or to know, just like certain behaviors, to just really know your body, know when something is kind of off, when you should be able to know what your baseline with your vagina, with your vulva, your yoni, know what the baseline is, so you know what your normalcy is, so you know when things are off, so you know when you need to change things. And so that's just the key with everything, is just to know yourself. So you can be your own advocate. That's really what it is. Like, you should not be relying on somebody else as your primary source of information or your primary source to be well or to be healthy. So just be your first advocate. Be the advocate for yourself, to be able to know what you're talking about, know what you're looking for within your body. And so I just wanted to give some tips for Yoni care during menstrual cycles. I happen to be on my cycle at this point, and I know a lot of other women who are on theirs. And I like to kind of see how other people handle and maintain their bodies, during different times of the month, because it's different for every woman. And so personally, I enjoy being able to just honestly be in seclusion. I really enjoy being in seclusion when it comes to my cycle. And there are a lot of traditions that believe in that like women, should. It's a time of communion. It's our closest time. Being that time of the month when you are menstruating is the closest time we are to the divine. That is the belief. And so in cultures, women would go together, because a lot of times women are always going to be on their period when they're in close proximity. They would go in seclusion and communion in nature, commune with nature, and literally just bleed free flow into the earth type of vibes. And so I'm closer to that kind of level in terms of how I maintain myself during my cycle. Just because I found out what helps for me, what works for me. And so, everybody's going to be different, but this is just one way I like to put out there, because a lot of people may be turned against it, but they may hear somebody else hear the experience and say, let me try it, whatever. So here's my experience with free flow during my cycle. So I be home usually during my period, and I have a specific red towel that I use during my cycle, where when I'm asleep or sitting, I'm pretty much, that towel is under me most of the day. But the idea of free flowing is so your vagina, your vulva area is not always covered. So when I'm walking around, I'm able to let my vulva, my yoni, breathe, because bacteria grows in warmth and wet areas. And that's pretty much your whole cycle. Your body temperature goes up, discharge increases. So that's literally bacteria breeding grounds. And so however you want to incorporate it, at whatever level, intensity, amount of time, I do encourage at some point to just kind of get in the habit of letting your yoni breathe, whether that be at night, sleeping without underwear, even if you have pants on, like loose pants on, sleeping without underwear, and kind of just like move into whatever is comfortable for you, whether you go up or more, less clothes, however you do it, but just kind of incorporate letting her breathe, letting the fresh air, sit with your legs open. She ain't got to be closed all the time. That's why we close and personal today, because we letting her breathe and showing her love and patience. And that's another thing, because a lot of women hold a lot of trauma in their genitals, in their womb, their uterus, ovaries, all of those things. And that's why a lot of women have disease, because of that trauma. But it's important to really shift our perspective about our genitals, about our bodies, because they are literally going to be a reflection of how we think about them. So if you're sending it love, if you appreciate it, if you are not feeling disgusted or shameful, like the opposite of those feelings, it's going to give that back to you. It's going to take care of you. I had to really sit back in and analyze how I was treating my own body, because the first day of my period was a little harsh, which it hadn't been that way in a few months. And so I just had to, one, I had to get back up on water. That's the biggest thing. Like diet and lifestyle goes into all that stuff too. Water, the types of food that you eat. But I had to really change the headspace that I was in because my body was definitely reflecting. But then I took a minute, I placed my hand on my womb space and I was just like, you know what? We're just gonna breathe. These cramps is a MFer. But I give you permission. I appreciate your ability to release toxins out of my body. Because that's what it is. That's what our cycles are. Our cycle is getting rid of the old to make space for the new every month. So it's a monthly thing of purging. And so if you're sending your body, your womb, gratitude and love for doing what it's supposed to do instead of, ugh, it's my period, I'm cramping and crave, all of that stuff, like your body is going to reflect however you think. So send it love, send it gratitude. Thank you for being able to keep my body in check. Thank you for releasing what no longer serves me. Send it love, let it do what it do. Figure out what works for you, whether you need to be in space kind of alone to recoup, take care of in-house stuff, take care of your body for that week or however long you bleed. Do what you need to do for your body, but just pay attention to what you need. Just be intentional. And that's what we're going to preach with everything that we talk about is attention.